Thank you for being with me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. It is a Monday, September 1st, 2025, and we have an active period ahead, and it starts now. We're getting into the peak of the hurricane season. This area here is going to try to become Gabrielle as we work our way through the week. Other strong tropical waves back behind it. So I want to cover that, but I also want to get into the flood potential in parts of Central America and watching the Bahamas and the Eastern Pacific very active. Kiko is out there, but also Lorena will try to develop, and that one will move closer to Mexico, may even eventually bring some rain up toward the United States, parts of the southwest U.S. But watching this spot here, I want to start with this because this is what's going on right now. I don't want to lose sight. A lot going on, yes, in the Atlantic, but look at this blob here. Overnight, I've been watching it. I've not seen it try to develop too much or anything like that, but these brighter colors are telling me we have really tall cloud tops. There's a ton of rain in this, so giving you the heads up, this is going to work in, especially southern Nicaragua, parts of Costa Rica, and Panama. So thank you for spreading the word. I appreciate subscribing to this channel, no doubt, but even more so, just getting the word out about things like this that may not make headlines, may not get a name, because we're going to see substantial flooding in here. So you can see here, I want to zoom down. We get toward parts of Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, right in through here, and then watching the southern coast of Nicaragua. Here's Providencia and San Andres. San Andres especially, some heavier rain, and then south. In through here, we're looking at 200 millimeters of rain or 8 inches of rain. Could be more in some spots. So again, thank you for sharing this information right through here because we are going to see some substantial flooding, even interior sections of Colombia. So I did want to start with that because again, that's what's going to be happening as we go over the next 24 hours watching that. Now we'll zoom back to this. I'll show you that on the move in a moment, but we swing back here as we work our way into the Atlantic. The American model and the Icon model have this area that's off the coast of Africa now developing into a hurricane. The European and Canadian models still see it. Sometimes they have it as a tropical storm or hurricane. As of now, a tropical depression, but all of the models are seeing at least some development of the first tropical wave, and then there's more back behind it. So let's start with the European model and looking out for signs of development. Some of this here, this is a model, so sometimes it just finds big spins out there, not necessarily tropical in nature, but this area in here, you see these brighter orange colors. This is showing an 80 to 90% chance of that area developing into a tropical depression. Not necessarily a tropical storm. This is a long track system. It is way the heck out there. There's a lot of variables for the track. If it can survive, if it can develop, that's what we'll be watching together. But the European model is showing at least some development. Here's another look at the European model and the variations of it, right? So this gives us a good feel of the uncertainty. Now, I want to talk about the track in just a second. Here we are in the Caribbean. Let's just go out in time here, watching this spot as we go throughout the week. This is by next weekend, and then this here is by a week and a day from now. So this is Tuesday, not tomorrow Tuesday, the following Tuesday, and it shows a lot of uncertainty. This thing could stay over the water. This thing could move toward the Caribbean. Not sure yet. Now here's why. I'll let you know a little bit more about the track. If this area stays weak, it is more likely to move toward the Caribbean, and then we need to watch it to see if it does develop. If it gets stronger quicker, like the American model is showing, it would more likely make a turn. Things that are stronger feel more of the ways to kind of work their way north. High pressure would move off. Something stronger would try to find an alleyway and lift to the north. Don't want to get too sciencey, but point being, something weaker is a little bit more likely to go toward the west initially. Something stronger is a bit more likely to make a curve. So those are some of the scenarios I'm looking at behind the scenes. But I do like where it is because it gives us plenty of time to watch it. So I'm going to cover everything going on in this video. Thank you for your patience. Central America, Eastern Pacific, watching something that may impact land over here. Heavier rain back through the Bahamas. We've been seeing that parts of Florida, at times really heavy rain. But let's pay attention to this just to kind of stay on track here with this spot first, just going out in time. Here we are in the Caribbean. This is by Thursday of this week. There should be some development. Now, going out in time, there are so many variables to what happens with this. High pressure initially in control above, that's like the blocker, right? That would keep this area down to the south and allow it to move to the west. But with that said, The American model has this strengthen a little bit more. That would allow it, or at least a higher probability, higher chance that it makes a curve. The European model is the one that keeps it a little bit weaker and brings it closer toward the Caribbean. So we'll wait and see. But you can see here strengthening into a strong tropical storm and a hurricane. So with that said, that area will start to feel these fronts, and those fronts will help influence it and kind of draw it back to the north. If it develops quickly. Again, a couple days from now, if it's still struggling to develop, it would be more likely to move toward the Caribbean. That is what we're going to sort out for. We're going to kind of sort out together as we go throughout the week ahead. And we need to watch out for anything that, of course, moves toward the Gulf or Caribbean, even the Bahamas. Super warm water. A lot of this has been relatively untouched behind air, and even in parts of the Western Atlantic, it's kind of rewarmed. It's warmed up again. So if the European model takes a weak area, weak is good, but if it takes a weak area into the Caribbean, well, then it runs into the very warm water temperatures. So sometimes you get some good news with the tropics, sometimes bad news. A lot of variables at this point. Now, zooming back to this, look at this spot in here. Again, not seeing development here. Elsewhere, scattered areas of showers and storms. A couple, Jamaica, Haiti, the DR. Cuba will get some bigger storms. The Bahamas, northern and central Bahamas, better chance of rain. But you see that blob of rain that will be around, and additional rain tomorrow as well. Western Panama, right back through Costa Rica. There are some heavier storms. Haiti, the DR, could get a couple near the Turks and Caicos, but more northern Bahamas, Cuba. And watching a few spots of rain near Barbados, St. Vincent the Grenadines, St. Lucia that may try to sneak in. There's Guatemala, some additional rain for tomorrow. And you see that persistent flow with that moisture again, Costa Rica and Panama and back through the Bahamas. And that's why I mentioned thank you for sharing this information with others, your community, your friends, family, because we've got a couple spots of heavier rain. This in particular here will lead to the potential of some flooding, some mudslides, very dangerous rivers. So you're doing your job getting the word out about that. Now, we'll get back toward the Eastern Pacific in a moment, watching one system departing the Atlantic region of Canada, Manitoba, swinging back toward Ontario, Quebec, another one diving down, and that'll allow some showers to develop back toward parts of the plains and the Midwest of the United States, but still very active in the southeast U.S., and that includes the Bahamas. That's where we had the extra rain. A lot of this kind of pivots its way up toward Bermuda. Here's that next system moving in and watching all of this rain here, and of course this spot here, a couple areas that I'll zoom down to in just a second on the Eastern Pacific side. I know I'm blocking that right now, but I'm going to zoom down into that, and then you see the next system diving down with some colder air, even that chance of some snow right in through here as we get back toward the Great Lakes, some stronger storms. But there's that moisture by Wednesday sitting over the northern Bahamas, and that'll try to lift its way up toward Bermuda, another area that's clipping by Newfoundland and the Avalon Peninsula. Now getting out here, this here is Kiko watching this, and then the spot back behind it. This area may eventually feed into Mexico, and of course there's the blob we're watching right now. So monitoring Hawaii here, looking over toward the Baja here. Watch what happens. Now Kiko itself, we'll get into the track of that in just a moment, just continues to work its way off toward the west in the open waters. But this spot here can develop. So here's Kiko, here's the next area. It will try to develop, but as it's developing, it lifts north in latitude, which also means it's running into some cooler water. So hopefully it'll weaken some, but we're going to see initial strengthening out of this, and then we'll keep an eye on the Baja. Now, if this does develop by Wednesday, could develop into a tropical storm or hurricane, the core should be just off toward the west of the Baja, but I'll monitor. And then as it lifts more to the north, eventual weakening. But then we'll see how this rain kind of pulls in to parts of Mexico, especially northwestern and western Mexico, where it has already been so wet. We'll keep an eye on Southern California, watching Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. Sometimes some of this rain could feed in. So that's what we'll also be watching as we go throughout the week ahead. As far as Kiko is concerned, that will continue to work its way off toward the west. Now, as we work here, as far as the wave heights go, I mentioned all of that action near the southeast U.S. That's where there's some higher seas. Elsewhere, seas are not too bad. Caribbean and the Gulf as we go forward in through the week. And then all eyes will be on what's happening out there in the Atlantic. Now, here's some of that really heavy rain. Watching the Bahamas, Freeport, New Providence, That's where we could get some multi-day totals, 3-day rain totals of 100 millimeters of rain or 4 inches of rain. Some of that as well. This here spotty through Cuba, some bigger thunderstorms. Hit or miss Cayman Islands, Jamaica. A couple of the storms in the DR and Haiti, while the rain chance is not super high, they will be strong. That'll lead to some intense runoff, so those rivers will be on the rise. Spotty shower storm Puerto Rico, U.S. and British Virgin Islands, Anguilla, St. Martin, Ceiba, Statia. Could see a couple of those passing showers and a couple, as I mentioned, some of that moisture feeding as we go over the next 2 days near Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, the Grenadines, Grenada. Not as much Trinidad and Tobago, although we'll still get a few passing showers. Kind of hit or miss Suriname, Guyana, and Venezuela. But there's that pocket of really intense rain. That's going to lead to the flooding right in through here. Elsewhere, kind of scattered about Ladyville. We had a couple showers in Belize yesterday. Had a couple thunderstorms around too. And then we swing over here, watching this moisture here as we work our way back through Mexico and then maybe swinging up toward Texas. We'll see how this area develops out there in the eastern Pacific for some heavier rain, and then watching out for scattered areas of rain in parts of the southern U.S. So Jamaica, we're holding on to about a 40% chance of some showers and storms. Some of us still to dry. Rain chance 20 to 30% over the next 3 days through the Cayman Islands. 40% chance of a passing shower today, Trinidad and Tobago. But you see the rain chance, it goes down some, a 30% chance for tomorrow and Wednesday, and about a 30% chance in Barbados. We'll see how close some of that moisture gets. That's just off toward the southeast. May bump up this rain chance a bit for tomorrow. We'll see how that shakes out. 20 to 30% chance in St. Lucia. We will have some passing showers at times. Grenada, 30% chance. Holding on to a 30% chance over the next 3 days. St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We get back through Martinique. Mainly dry. Could get a passing shower. Just a 20 to 30% chance today, tomorrow, and Wednesday in Dominica. 20 to 30% chance through Guadeloupe over the next 3 days. Antigua, Barbuda, our rain chance is low. It's down to 20%. That's going to hold the next couple of days. St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat, 30% chance by Wednesday. Anguilla and St. Bart's, very minimal rain chance. So this is all passing variety. St. Martin, Ceiba, and Statia, 20% chance today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Swinging back toward Puerto Rico, we could get a couple thunderstorms around, about a 30% chance, equal chances depending on where you are across Puerto Rico, and about a 20% chance today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. U.S. and British Virgin Islands, again, northern Bahamas, that's where we could see some flooding in spots and get some of the heavier rain, some of that water just kind of hanging out over some of the roads. Turks and Caicos, rain chance 30% the next 2 days. The Dominican Republic and Haiti, again, storms not super widespread, but where we get them, they are going to lead to those dangerous rivers and that quick runoff, especially as we get back toward Haiti. Rain chance Belize going down, 20 to 30% chance. And then Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire, rain chance very minimal, 10, maybe 20% chance over the next few days. About a 40% chance the next 2 days in Guyana. Only a 30% chance the next 3 days as we work our way through Suriname. Scattered areas of rain and thunderstorms in Cuba. If you get one, it could be on the strong side. Even a small risk of a brief tornado will be possible. Costa Rica and Panama, of course, have been highlighting that. Western Panama in particular through Costa Rica with that blob of rain that will be moving in southern sections of Nicaragua with that flooding that will be a potential. Thank you for getting the word out. 30 to 40% chance in Honduras. And the rain chance building some by tomorrow, as I showed you. Guatemala and El Salvador, the rain chance bumps up again. Mexico City, watching out for that active period the next 3 days. At least a 60% chance of rain. Meanwhile, Yucatan Peninsula, 30 to 40% chance, 40 to 50% chance northern Colombia, northern Venezuela, 40% chance for today, and a 50% chance for tomorrow. And then as we work our way back toward Bermuda, we'll watch out how much some of this rain kind of feeds toward Bermuda, coming out of the southeast coast of the U.S. Back toward the Bahamas. So the beginning of an active period, that tropical wave in the Atlantic trying to form off the coast of Africa. Plenty of time to watch it. With that said, more development behind it. And again, looking today in Central America, watching out for the flooding. The next name on the list on the Atlantic side, the Atlantic, Gulf, and Caribbean, is Gabrielle. So thank you for sharing this information and have a good rest of your day.